Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter still in front of doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Can I ask something?
Okay, ask away.
Okay, before I talk my question, I will tell you something like this is my personal experience because I have a lot of friends in campus in university.
Mhm.
So they sometimes not be confident to speak, and then they feel so anxiety. Do you know anxiety? Like they be afraid to talk many times in front of people. So sometimes they think that they are not good person to talk because their English is not good, or sometimes they don't have good grammar. But in this case, I told with my friends, like, when you wanted to try to speak in front of people, just speak what you wanted to speak, because it is about your argument. Maybe it is about your perspective. So I think you have to push yourself to be better, to speak louder, and then just like you believe in yourself to speak in front of people. Maybe people can mock you, or sometimes like they say bad because your grammar is not good, or sometimes your pronunciation is wrong, or your accent is different from another accent. But I think you have to believe, you have to speak, because you have to minimize your anxiety, because anxiety is like I think cut off your confidence to speak up. So I think you have to minimize your anxiety. So what do you think about anxiety, sir?
Anxiety. So like, could you like anxiousness or
Yeah, anxiety.
like
Worried. You know? Yeah,
you're talking about
exactly.
anxiety.
Inside, yeah.
Okay, got it. So there's the generic answer I think that most people would say. So it's the things that you're basically saying. One different way to perceive it is when we grow up, there's going to be certain things that we learn from school, and there's going to be certain things that you have to figure out for yourself. And this is the part I think that people they don't get a chance to do it, or they don't realize that they need to do this. One way I would talk to this would be, we are not born in this world like an IKEA furniture, in which we come with a manual with how we are put together and how we function. Right? When you're born in this world, you don't have a manual. A lot of times you have to figure out yourself how you function. So what makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you mad? What makes you anxious? What makes you frustrated? What makes you feel all sorts of emotions, right? Because we're human, we have all sorts of emotions. And aside from that, what are our triggers? What psychologically would trigger us? Say, like, if someone says a particular word, we might get triggered to feel a particular emotion. So for example, someone says puppy, and then naturally we imagine this really cute, cuddly baby dog, and it's like, oh, so cute, right? And then we have this like warm feeling inside, and it's like, oh, I want to hug it and squeeze it and hold it so much tight, right? right? And that might be a trigger, right? And that's much more a positive trigger versus like, let's say someone says a very offensive term to you, and all of a sudden now you're like, "Arr!" Like I'm so mad at this person because they called me a name, Arr! Right? So, um, so what are those, right? Like sometimes the only way to figure it out is you experience it in life, and then if you experience that enough times, then the next part of this, the process would be, um, you may either blame others for it, or you would internalize it and figure out what you need to do to deal with it better. And over time, you may develop protocols or internal steps to process some of this stuff so that when it happens again, you know what to do. Otherwise, if you don't have these predetermined steps of how to process some of these emotions or these actions, then psychologically you have something that's called fight or flight. You might have heard of that, right? So you either want to fight the situation or escape the situation, because those are our natural tendencies. Those are our very primal and based tendencies. But if you incur, or if you experience some of these actions or triggers or emotions or whatever like that enough times, you may be able to develop ways to process them better so that when they happen, then you're able to deal with it. So in this case, when it comes to people feeling like they're not able to communicate well in English, and the idea of being ridiculed or like being laughed at, maybe one way of thinking about it is that they didn't really have a way to be able to process that, to be able to know how to deal with someone laughing at them. So instead of wanting to deal with that, it's fight or flight. In this case, they avoid it, so it's flight, right? They avoid. So instead of trying to meet the situation head on and fight the people that are laughing at them, they would rather not even bother practicing their English to avoid being laughed at. See? So this could be something where each and every one of us individually may need to do something to learn how we deal with certain situations. So how do we deal with a situation where people may laugh at us, or we think that maybe people may laugh at us, right? We may need to figure out like other things, but like in this particular case, that would be one thing. Some people may feel like their sense of incompetence in their grammar. I've always heard this one where like my grammar or my vocabulary is not good enough. That's why I don't practice English. And it's like, is that really an excuse? Or is that really honestly that's what's going on? Hi, Bonar, how's it going? We're in that later part of the meeting where we're just talking about anything. So we're not on the topic anymore. But feel free to jump in.
Hey, hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Like today's
I'm sorry,
topic,
it's very late for me to join.
no worries, because you know how I do for my meetings. My meetings tend to be long anyways.
Yes, yes.
My,
What were you talking about just now?
well, we're off the topic at the moment. So we're just talking about Ayuna had a question regarding people that may feel inconfident in speaking English, right? And like, what are my
Shady.
thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so she gave me her 2 cents as a preview to it, and then I gave her my 2 cents. This is something I personally need to practice this one more because usually I would tell people, it's like, wait, why are you worried about grammar and vocabulary? You should not be worried about that. Just talk
I do
first
agree.
and feel the confidence, right? Like normally
I
that's
do
what I
agree.
would say. But I need to keep on practicing, or at least keeping in mind that sometimes people did not develop protocols or internal steps or internal ways to process uh, some of these instances. And
Mhm.
this is where, for me, this is my lack of um, sensitivity for other people. Um, I mean, a lot of times we're dealing things with our own lives. So to have time to be sensitive for others, uh, it's more of a luxury if we could do it. If we can't do it, then lots of times we return to our base tendencies of fight and flight. In which case, for me, I tend to fight a lot with people. It's like, if you have enough time to argue with me, you could have been spending all this time, practicing your English. Like that's one of my sayings that I would say a lot. It's very insensitive, but like
Yeah.
it drives home the point to some of these people that like, why are you keep on arguing with me on this? Like, why are you trying to take up my time for? Right? Like,
Mhm.
what are you like? Are you throwing this at me that you could not improve your English, so that you're going to throw this at me? Like, so this is the fight mode, right? And like, I don't have actual protocols of how to deal with a situation like this, which is why I'm ending up fighting instead of, actually processing it better. But when it comes to situations like this, if I actually develop a way to process this better, I might be able to advise people in a way that may be more helpful, that may be more palatable or easier for them um, to listen to. Because if I keep on saying like this, they don't want to hear me. They would rather just like, okay, I'm gonna fight you back if you're gonna fight me. And I'm like, well, I'm fighting you because you fought me first. Like you put this on me. Like I was sitting here and you're just gonna put this on me. And then you're gonna fight me back and forth, right? So like this whole idea of when you keep on fighting back at each other, this eye for an eye, then it's like that revenge thing, right? Like revenge will just keep on cycling through and you just don't go anywhere with it. So at some point, somebody has to be the bigger person to understand, like, okay, this is what's going on. And we need to put a stop to this. So this is why personally for me, I'm trying to practice this better because lots of time I'm just a busy person. This is not my day job. I do this because I like to help people out and give a little bit of a different perspective. I'm not trying to be a teacher, but I do like to host these meetings. I like this group a lot, so much that I was just like, do you want to do this, Tom? I'm like, well, I never thought about that. Let me give it a try. And that's why I'm here. I was approached and I was just like, okay. And there's other groups that has approached me to do something similar. I'm like, no, I like this group. So I've been just sticking with International English Cafe this whole time. Personally, I do help out like a Vietnamese group in terms of like a Google Meet call. There's a Discord group that is more specific, not for English, but it's a hangout group in which some people may join to practice English with me. But, my main thing is I'm not here to teach you anything. I just talk to you, you talk to me. The more you keep on talking back and forth, your English will improve. So for me, my thing is talk to me, I talk to you, we keep on talking, and through there, eventually your English will improve because I know naturally I'll include certain terminologies that may be like these will definitely be vocab words. I tend to throw in a plethora of vocabularies in there. And if you catch it, nice. If you don't catch it, At some point you will, because I like to repeat those type of terminologies again and again. You'll start to see that I will have certain catchphrases. So there's this one guy who always noticed that I say something like, to the notion of, in respect to, right? Regarding this, right? I will say things like that instead of like, oh, I'm talking about this. It's like, no, I'm not just talking about this. Like there's this notion of something that I'm referring to. See? Like, so there's different ways of saying these, like this use of adverbial phrases, right? It's makes it much more interesting when you can use something different. So when that guy took notice of that, he used all that. He then took his IELTS exam, got a 9 on his speaking, which is the highest score you can get on IELTS, or at least for that one part, right? The rest of his IELTS exam, it was like, 7s and 8s in there, right? But overall, what he focused on was his 9 on his IELTS. So now he is an IELTS trainer in speaking only. And he's leveraging that as his gimmick to help make money, so that then he can teach other kids IELTS so that they can improve. Because I think IELTS is kind of like one of those requirement tests at this point for a lot of students to take. So this is kind of like his way of making money. But yeah, like it's stuff like that, right? I tend to be repetitive in certain things I say, and I'll have certain idioms and or vocabularies. So those will be things that people will pick up at some point. But yeah, like that's kind of like my thing with this, right? Like, is it okay if I have very few members or many members? I don't really care. I just hold these meetings. You join, cool. If you don't, that's fine. I'll advertise. Okay, sorry. I'll advertise all the other people's meetings, which is why I have this as my background. Everybody, I like all the hosts, and have at least try to attend one meeting for each host. And if you're not able to join my meeting, join theirs. If you can't join their meeting, but you can join mine, cool. Like, if you find my meeting kind of difficult, tell me so. It might be hard to tell me because it's like especially hard to communicate things, but that's why I have a session towards the end. Do you have any comments, questions, or thoughts? And talk about it. Is there ways for me to improve? Is there ways for the whole thing to be improved? This is kind of like why the whole topic for today too, like feedback for the International English Cafe, giving awareness of what we have to offer, but also too, there may be some things here that we could do better. So, this is all part of the promotional video that I'm intending to create. So.
Yes.
You're welcome. But yeah, in terms of your friends or your classmates or colleagues situation, I would say at least what I'm also intending to do for myself, by the way, right? Which is slow down, listen to them, and try to understand their situation. And from there, maybe understand that they don't have a protocol. I keep on using that word a lot. Protocol.
When? Yeah.
Right? Like a way of doing things,
Protocol.
structure, or a step-by-step thing of what to do, right? So they don't have like a way to process things. So this could be something where if you have an idea, maybe you could tell that to them. That might help them with processing this, right? So one thing I distinctly heard was the fear of being laughed at. So maybe they need to develop a way to how to be able to deal with how it's like to be laughed at. So that could be one example. There could be other things that could be in this, but at least that's one thing to think about.
When I try to support them, they worry about the mistakes that they have. Maybe they don't want to improve. I mean, like if they have mistakes, and I think they think they are so bad in English. But I think if you have a mistake, it's grateful for you, because without mistake we cannot learn. I think we have to have mistake to improve. Like, oh my God, this is my mistake before, and I will try to do my best in the future. So I would say, like, we can improve our speaking skill. For example, a native speaker. Sometimes native speaker do wrong. Sometimes they do wrong of grammar mistakes, or sometimes pronunciation or something like that. If you see in on the movie or music, because they have scripts, so that's why they could speak like, sometimes they can speak good, or their pronunciation is good, or their sentence is good, because they have script. We cannot make script if we make a communication each other. So you have to push yourself, like believe in yourself, throw up your anxiety, try to make a sentence, little by little you can make your improvement better. So I think in this case I would say, like, self-love. You have to make your self-love first. You try to do your best in the future. For example, me, I try to practice my English in front of mirror. So I think I could speak with myself, and when I can speak better, I will try to speak in front of people, or I will make a communication with another people, especially in other people in another country, or maybe with my close friends or something like that. So you have to push yourself. You know yourself. You know your value. You know your capability. So I think it depends on you. Then I try to support them with self-love. You have to show your self-love first. I think that's all. Thank you.
One thing to point out there is because how you're approaching it is a very positive way, which is nice. Is it realistic though? That's the one thing I would question, because for some people, I think this would work, right? Because what they're looking for is they're looking for that sense of confidence. Actually, Bonar, do you want to chime in?
Yes, that's a nice talk. But I just want to share maybe that's a part of my issue on my spoken English. For me, it's more challenging when I come to sort of topic that I'm not familiar. At that issue, I'm struggling to talk. I get stuck on my vocabulary. And additional of my issue on talking in English is the rhythm of my spoken, and the rhythm and articulation, something like that. Because English is not my native language, so I try to listen to the native speaker and try to imitate them, their way to talk, the rhythm and the articulation. So far it works, but for example, when you propose the topic, let's say about economy, I'm not familiar with that yet, so I would be struggling to talk about the topic because a lot of vocabulary that I'm not familiar with yet. So I think that's why in our spoken issue, knowing more vocabulary is crucial. not only like for grammar. I know grammar is also an issue on our speaking, but sometimes I try to don't care about my accurate grammar. Sometimes I just try to speak naturally and spontaneously, something like that.
Yeah. So, like overall, right? Like there's the aspect where sometimes people that just need that confidence boost, right? So, maybe people are lacking in particular ways, right? It could be your vocabulary, it could be their grammar, it could be their confidence, right? But there's a more objective or realistic way to look at things. So aside from the like this kind of positive angle of like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this. So like there's kind of this notion of looking forward to improve, right? There is a negative side to think about this, right? It's like, why are they saying this? Are they saying it to you only and not anybody else? Or are they saying this to everybody? Right? And what is the purpose of them saying this? Are they actually carrying out what they're talking about? So this is going to be some of the difficult things that everybody will deal with, right? In some cases, it may be you in this case, and you are earnestly trying to improve yourself. But there's other people that are saying the same thing as you, and they're not doing the same thing. They're just saying it, right? So I would say, at least in Ayuna's case, listen to what they're saying and try to connect it with what their actions are. If they do not conform or they do not align, there's something going on, right? So one thing could be that like they want your attention because they see that you're giving them attention and this is what they're seeking. So instead of actually them and trying to improve, they just want you to just keep on talking to them because they want your attention. They may want your attention for some reason, maybe because they normally don't get attention from other people. And all of a sudden, you're there to give them attention, right? Or it could be various other reasons, but that might be one. Two, complacency. So complacency is the idea where you feel too comfortable to change because it feels like changing might be much more bothersome than to not change and not improve. So the idea of improving, because that's such a drastic change, would lead to their life being turned upside down. And they might not have a way to be able to deal with change. So instead of improving, they would rather not improve at all. Like not, and when I say this, they're not consciously thinking about this, right? This is much more subconscious level instead of a conscious level. This is not a frontal lobe thing, but very on a deeper level that they're not in control of technically. So so this is going to be some of the things to maybe difficult to deal with, right? Do you have time to even help them? And if no, then you might have to do more of a tough love type of situation where it's like, hey, I'm not going to give you attention anymore because I need more time for myself to do things for my own particular goals in life. I put out there this stuff. If you don't take my suggestions, then I can't do anything about it. And you may have to just tell them something to that effect. Or if you do actually have the ability to help, meaning you have the time to help, you have knowledge and other such empathy and sensitivity in order to be able to help them, and the will to even want to help them, then okay, help them, right? And kind of help them through the process of like, this is what's going on, this is how things are maybe psychologically, and these may be certain areas that you we can help, like we can try to work with you to process through, because sometimes a lot of this is more psychological rather than actual technical abilities. So for Bonar, right, you mentioned about like how you're trying to improve. Honestly, I think you speak very well. The only thing at this point is like, where in your English journey do you want to go? Because if you're trying to advance even more than that, then it's totally understandable why you want more vocabularies, right? You want to know more to enhance your abilities. That would make complete sense, because like not only like are you at a good level, but you want to go even beyond that. And it does take a lot more of that to go beyond. So totally aligns with what you're saying. So I'm like, oh, great, right? And the more you're exposing yourself to this, to more new vocabularies, how being able to hear how it's being utilized, right? Then the more that you're able to enable yourself with the use of such vocabularies, and then to further yourself, right? So, you know, something like that makes sense. But, you know, like, this is kind of like why, like, everybody's situation is going to be different, right? Sometimes it's going to align, sometimes it doesn't. And at the same time, can you help these people, or you don't have the time, right? It's understandable if you don't have time. You should not feel obligated to help people. I don't personally try to help people like that, because I've gotten to a point where like, no, I'm going to leave you alone. I put out the information out there. If you don't do something with it, that's on you, right? That's more telling of who you are than who I am. I can only do what I can. I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. You are you. You're an adult. You need to be able to control yourself, right? I can't do this for you. You know, like we have to come to that realization that we're adults, we control our own lives. Otherwise, if it's respect to your parents and other elders, yes, you listen to them, right? But outside of that, don't make me your mom or dad. You can go to your own mom or dad to have them tell you stuff, right? That's not my role. Like that's kind of like my prerogative on that kind of thing. Ooh, that's a nice word too, prerogative. But yeah,
So, what about your personality when people mock you, or sometimes they say something rude to you? So, what about the personality? Sometimes people say that, oh, my personality is gone, and my personality is bad right now because people mock myself, and they try to underestimate us as well. So, how about the personality in your talk?
in this case, I would analyze it to wonder, why are you mocking? Why are you mocking me? Why are you talking about things about me? It's like, am I taking up space in your mind that you have to think about me all the time? Or like you thinking about me? It's like, if my life's so interesting that you have to think about me, that you can't even deal with your own life. Is that what it is? Is your life so boring that like you know, instead of thinking about yourself, you think about me? God damn it. Like I'm such a celebrity right here. See? Like, this is a very snarky way to think about it, right? It's you Yep, no worries, don't worry about it. Bonar, if you don't remember, right? Like I am more lenient in terms of turning on cameras because I understand ever since Frida's meetings, I understand completely that your bandwidth might not be uh able to withstand having your camera on and then be able to have a good connection. So if you need your camera off, totally understandable. Usually I'll ask people to turn on their cameras to take pictures. Although this whole time, since I'm recording the meeting, I'm not asking people to do that at all. You can just have your cameras off the whole time. But my more important thing is, are you talking?
I
But going back
see.
to, yep. But going back to Ayuna, um, so notice how I responded to that, right? I was very snarky. I was very sarcastic. Um, but you can kind of see, right? It's like instead of me trying to be offended by what they said, I'm taking what they said and then I can kick it back at them again. It's like question them. Why are you thinking about me for? Why are you criticizing me for something? What is your purpose? Why are you attacking me? What are you trying to do? What is your agenda? It's like, am I really the bad guy or are you the bad guy for attacking me? Because I didn't do anything to you, but you're attacking me. So who's the bad guy in this, right? So it's that kind of mentality in approaching a situation, right? This is a way to fight it by pushing back, right? Uh, this goes back to fight or flight, but this is at least a little bit more of a calmer and um, different approach to fighting it back, right? We're living in an age where people can be trolly, right? To troll each other. Um, so instead of like being seriously offended when someone curses at us, we can take their curses and then throw it back at them to make their curses look like they're the ones that are fools for cursing at us to begin with. If anything, the more they curse at us, the more foolish they look because they're the ones that look mad and we're like, why are you mad? Huh? Like, what did I do anything? Or are you pissed off because you just don't like me because I have a better life than you and you're the one that's pissed off by that? Maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror because, or maybe, sorry, whenever you do look in the mirror, your mirror cracks because you're so ugly. And then you're going to throw that onto me. See, like it's a way to just throw things back at them. So what did they call this? Judo, right? The art of using someone's energy against them. So although judo is a form of martial arts, but in terms of a strategy, in this case, a social strategy, it's the idea that you're going to take their negative energies and then figure out how to throw it back at them. So that instead of you using up all your energies to fight them, you're just going to use their energies back at them. And then you maintain your own energy. So at this in this case, if you think about it in terms of a game, right? Your health bar does not move, but their health bar moves because it's kind of like, they did a fire blast at you and then you just bounce it back at them and then they get hit by their own fire blast, right? It's that kind of like a way of thinking about it, right? Use their energy against them and you'll be surprised how that works out, right? This is why like we're living in an era where it's so much more interesting when we have arguments and fights because the ability to troll other people back is so much more fun.
Yeah, sometimes people don't understand about our mental health and maybe they just say something rude and without thinking about the personality, about the mental. But I just say that I hate people when people want to underestimate people because we are human. We have to humanize our human. So sometimes maybe people can make wrong, can make a mistake. It's normal because we are human.
Yes.
As long as we want to learn, we want to grow up, we can look at our progress in the future. So sometimes don't waste your time to bake up the rude words from others. We just focus on ourselves. We are having a great goal in the future. All people have a goal. All people, you have a goal. I have a goal. Many people have a goal. So sometimes we just focus on our goals. Don't think too much about maybe if we have a goal like we want to fluently in English. Just focus how to practice, how to memorize the vocabulary, and how to read the articles to maximize your vocabularies. Sometimes I push myself like when I have a toxic people around me, so I think I would cut off the friendship because I love my mental health. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah.
I like the issue that you propose, Yunus. By the way.
Oh, thank you. Because yeah, many people not be confident to speak, sir. Uh, this is a real case in my case. You know, I have a lot of friends. So many friends like, oh, Ayuna, I couldn't speak English very well because many people mock my pronunciation. Many people mock my English because I couldn't speak English well like native speaker. So I told them like, how come you be native speaker? Your native language is Indonesian. Your native language is Indonesian. You are not native speaker. You are a learner. You are a learner from other country who wants to know English, who want to speak English in the future. So try to do your best.
Sure.
You have your own accent actually. You have your own accent. Indonesian accent is yours. Don't don't try to imitate maybe native speaker because we are not native speaker. Our native language is Indonesian. English is not our native language, so it's normal when you try to speak, when you try to pronounce it, when you try to give yourself better in the future. It's normal because we are human. We learner. We learn from another aspects of life. So sometimes you have to push yourself and maximize your confidence in the future in order to get your better life. Don't think too much about toxic people. You have to cut off the friendship instead of you wasting your time to say something in many toxic people around you, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. But I get you because when I come to any conversation, the conversational meeting or talk, I found out myself to figure out and to recognize myself, to distinguish my position. Once I got high confidence, I talk like easily. But when I feel like not confident, so I'm struggling with my talk. So that's why I think getting confidence is crucial for our talk in English. And sometimes when I get nervous, like I jump to any kind of meeting, and that meeting, most of them are scholars. They are mostly expert at the subject, and I was getting nervous, and my English suddenly looks broken up, and I didn't know what to talk. But when I tried to join with another community, when I feel so confident, I talk easily. I talk like uh, a sort of friendly. So that's why I think feel comfortable and confident is it's crucial for our spoken language.
Yeah. Earlier in the meeting, just to let you know, Bonar, I mentioned about breaking the confidence barrier, right? So that is something that we some people would need to do. So being able to break that confidence barrier does help with being able to speak more and more, feeling, or at least feeling confident to speak more and more. Um, so that is something that can help people. That's assuming that they're looking to improve, by the way, because otherwise, it's kind of like how I said there are some people, they're not looking to improve, they're just looking for your attention under the guise of like they need to improve, right? So just through talking to them, figure out what's going on. You can try to smell it out of them to figure out like, is this them being earnest in trying to improve, or is this them for a more cynical purpose, right? So I would say start off with that, and then if it's honestly that they're trying to improve, okay, do you have the capacity to help? If you do, then keep going. If you don't, you can only do what you can. Just here's what you have for them, and then leave them to their own devices. We have to understand that it's survival of the fittest, right? It's Darwinism. So you can only do so much to try to help another person out. They have to be able to live their own life. They can't use you as a crutch forever. If they can't survive on their own, then like what? Are you going to help them when they get married? Are you going to help them when they have kids? Are you going to help them when they're dead? You can only do so much to help somebody. You have to let them do it themselves, right? This is the whole, if you give a man a fish, he has a day to eat. But if you teach him how to fish, then he can learn, he'll be able to eat for a lifetime, right? It's like one of those type of things. So sometimes you just have to put whatever out there to teach them, and it's on them if they'll utilize that skill. If they're not, that speaks more to them than to you. You did your best. So you need to allow them to take it the rest of the way. So that's my caveat when it comes to a lot of this, because you don't want to go all the way to help somebody, because maybe it's not going to be one person that's looking for your help. Maybe there's going to be many more. Maybe you might have other personal things that you need to attend to, right? For example, like let's say you need to help out your own family members on a much more personal thing, but then all these people are asking you for English help. Obviously, your family is more important. See? So there's going to be other things that are going to be taking more precedence or priorities in your life rather than doing something like this. So whatever you can do to help other people, it's nice, but know that you need to focus on your own thing as well. It's a hard balance, which is what I'm getting at. So understanding that balance, then you can start to adjust to see what you can do for other people. Because the moment you do that one thing for one person, other people are going to expect you to do the same thing. So do you have enough energy to do it for everybody else if you do it for one person, right? And that's I think that's the tough part to deal with. So there's a little bit more thought to put into this before actually taking any kind of sort of action. But this just listen to people more, try to feel out what they're going through, try to get kind of a psychological profiling of what their situation is. And lots of times it's maybe that they just need to do something that may not necessarily even be related to English, right? It might be their own psychological hindrance that's preventing them from doing anything. So I would offer that type of perspective to look at this some of your situations. Okay. Technically speaking, I think this meeting has gone too long because I started this at actually
3
no.
hours. 3 hours, you know. I counted 3 hours.
Technically, I started the recording at like 10:15 my time, and it's almost 2 o'clock, which means it's getting close to the 4-hour mark. Yeah.
What time is it there?
So yeah, I'm going to let's see. Before I officially close this meeting, do you have anything else before I go?
I just wondering, maybe it's 1 a.m. there, or what time is it now?
It's 1:52, so 8 minutes until 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah, because like my time, because of daylight savings, I'm now 1 hour ahead. So instead of 12 hours apart from the three of you, or actually from the two of you, I'm only 11 hours behind you guys. But yeah, so like there's links for you need to rest now. Yeah, I know. So I will put this call to a close, but
Okay, I catch you.
yep. So other than that, I think we went through a good deal of questions, comments, and thoughts. This is kind of fun. So with that, I call meeting adjourned. We should be hitting the 4-hour mark in like a few minutes. Cut it off before that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the YouTube though, I'm gonna cut out a lot of this because it wasn't part of the topic of the meeting. This is just stuff on the side, just so that like for people that like to stay around and be able to talk more, then this is what this session is more for. But other than that, yeah. Have a good day, everyone, and
Yeah.
take care.
Happy weekend. Hello, Sam. Thank you.
Yep.
take care, Tom. Take care, Tom. See you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy quarter lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum. Every accent's welcome some. Round a table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. Our love is aired, across the world and love is aired. Across the world and love is aired. English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy quarter lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face, we find the way, in a little cafe day after day after day. globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Axing charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.